All right, and we're live.
Terrific. Well, hi. How are you? I'm Mel Robbins, and this is Coffee Talk. This is our weekday live broadcast where I bring you behind the scenes around the United States as we are giving speeches around the world. We are launching a new daytime syndicated talk show, and we are also sharing all the things that we're learning. And today, what we're going to be talking about is how you need to stop messing with your stuff. That's right. If your life is a mess, one of the things that you need to stop doing is messing with your stuff. What do I mean by that? Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the fact that one of the things, the coping mechanisms that I know I'm guilty of, I'm sure you're guilty of it too, is that when you get stressed out, when things start to feel overwhelming, what do? We start messing around with our physical stuff. And one of the reasons why we do this is because your physical stuff, your shoes, your furniture, the papers on your desk, the photo albums that you need to rearrange, guess what? They don't talk back. Your physical stuff are things that you can control. And so I want to talk to you about this because what I've noticed from a lot of you as you're writing in and telling us about the areas in your life where you feel stuck or where you need advice is that a lot of you are having trouble managing your overwhelm and managing your stuff. And so we're going to talk about how your desire to control the physical things around you, it's a fake form of control. And if you are the kind of person that's constantly rearranging your bedroom or rearranging your desk or rearranging your closet or rearranging the fridge, that is a big red flag because it means that you're distracting yourself with the physical things that you can control and manipulate instead of confronting the scarier emotional things. If you're guilty of doing something like that, please let me know. You know, when Chris and I were facing bankruptcy, you know what I would do? I would rearrange the living room every single week. Literally. Chris would walk in the house and be like, why is the couch over here? And I'll tell you why. Because it gave me a false sense of control to control the room changing. When I was at a moment in my life where I felt totally out of control because of all the problems that Chris and I were facing. Before I kind of jump into more things related to this, if you have not watched a live broadcast before, welcome. You are not, what is the word? I should probably tell you that I am in San Diego and I live in Boston, and I've already flown across the country 6 hours after getting up super early to drive my son to school. So I'm at that time in the day where my brain is starting to have breaks in being able to speak and complete sentences. It is only, what time is it here? 3:19. And I feel like I'm slightly tipsy. That's how tired I am. So if I'm not making a lot of sense at certain times during this, it has to do with the extraordinary amount of travel that we have been doing lately and nothing to do with whether or not I'm actually present, because I am present. I'm just a little tired. So if you are new to Coffee Talk, every single day during the week, we go live and we talk about something related to either a business that we're developing or a problem that we're facing, or we answer your questions. And today, I'm talking about a trend that I'm noticing in the emails and the comments that you're leaving online, and that is way too many of you are wasting your time on forms of fake control. That you are doing things in your life that give you a sense of control without giving you actual control. And, you know, focusing on the physical stuff, it's not going to give you what you're seeking. I mean this. It's not going to give you what you're seeking. And there's a whole lot of things in the world that you can't control. You can't control other people. You can't control your boss. You can't control the traffic that you're facing. You can't control whether or not you might get a health diagnosis. You can't control the weather. You can't control what's going to happen with the economy. You can't control what's going on in the government. You can't control what your tax return is going to be this year. There's a lot of things in your life that you can't control. And most of us, when we face situations that we can't control, we start to feel uncertain. And when we feel uncertain, what do? We seek certainty. And so one of the things that we all do is we start to control things instead of making actual change happen in our lives, which is what's going to give you real control. And the problem is, whenever you are focused on the physical stuff, you're not going to get real control. I can share with you another example of what I'm talking about. So I remember there have been lots of times in my life when I didn't have a lot of money. I did not have a lot of money in college. Even though I worked a job full-time as I was a student, I did not have a lot of money in law school. I did not have a lot of money as a young lawyer working for legal aid. And certainly when Chris went into the restaurant business with his partner and things started to go south, we didn't have any money. And you know, the interesting thing about not having money is it made me feel like my life was spiraling out of control. So do you want to know what I would do in those times when I didn't have money? First, let's just think. Can you think of something, just put it in the comments, that I could have done that might have actually given me more money? Let's see, I could have held a garage sale and sold things. Didn't do that. I could have looked for a second job to make more money. Didn't do that. I could have gone to see, one of those financial counselors that helps you figure out how to consolidate your debt, and so didn't do that. You know what I would do? I would feel so out of control because we had no money. I would go to DSW. For those of you that are unaware of what DSW is, it is the designer shoe warehouse. It is the mecca of distraction. It is thousands of shoes in row after row after row, and it is a beautiful thing when you can afford to go there. But I would literally go there, I'm not kidding you, once a week, and I would wander the aisles for an hour or two, trying on shoes that I had no money to buy. And doing so allowed me to be distracted. Doing so gave me a fake sense of control for a couple hours because I, quote, allowed myself to feel normal and to do what normal things do. But the second I walked out of DSW, you know what? I felt actually worse than when I walked in because I knew that I had wasted 2 hours pretending that I had control of my life when I could have used those 2 hours to do something that might have given me actual control. Now, one of the reasons why I'm talking to you about this is because, as many of you know, we have a brand new audiobook on Audible. It's an Audible original, which means my company, 143 Studios, partnered with Audible Originals. We created something that you can only find on Audible. It's called Take Control of Your Life, How to Silence Fear and Win the Mental Game. Now, look, I'm not telling you to buy the book. I'm telling you about it. It is the #1 new release on Audible. The reviews that are coming in are absolutely mind-blowing. They are so amazing. There are reviews that are on our Instagram story right now that I'm so proud of. People telling us that this is the most important book that they've ever listened to in their entire life, and they are only 3 chapters in. They've related to every one of the people that I coach in this. What is it? It is 6 coaching sessions that cover people's greatest fears. And it's teaching you how to silence the fear in your body before it gets to your head and you talk yourself out of doing the things you need to do. And in one of the sessions, Rose's session, guess what the topic is about? It's about stuff. It's about how when our minds feel messy and our lives feel messy, we mess with our stuff because it's a hell of a lot safer and a hell of a lot easier than dealing with the bigger problems that we're facing. And Rose's entire coaching session is about her stuff, how she's literally become buried alive in stuff, physical things in her house, because her mental space is such a mess. And so for those of you that are struggling with your stuff, I want to call your attention to a resource. Hey, Tracy from our team is watching this. I flipped it over. Okay, I got notes on the back. Okay, great. There is a free resource that you can use because one of the things that we learned in Rosa's session is that when you focus on the stuff, you're never going to get real control. That it is a Band-Aid on a massive wound. And, Rosa felt like her life was a mess, but instead of dealing with it, she just focused on her stuff, which is exactly what I was doing. It's normal. It's absolutely normal to walk around Walmart and Target when you have no money and just distract yourself. It's normal to rearrange your living room or your bedroom or your office because you're scared. But you've got to wake up at some point and realize if you really want to take control of your life, you got to stop messing with the stuff and you got to focus on the stuff that actually is going to change your life. And so the other thing about messing with your stuff is it wastes a lot of time and emotional energy, so you always have an excuse for why you're too tired to do the harder things. So look, If this is relating to you, give me a thumbs up. If you're somebody that fusses with your stuff as a distraction, if you're somebody that wanders the aisles in a store or shops for cars that you can't afford as a distraction. Look, it's one thing if you go and you have to clean out a closet because it's a mess and that's a one and a done. It's another thing if you go and you're shopping for a car because it's on your vision board and sitting in it and test driving it makes you more motivated. And so you get even more empowered and you do take more action. That's positive stuff. But when you're just messing around with it as a distraction, that's when you know it's a red flag. And I want to know who's done stuff like this. What's the store you go to when you're stressed out? What's the window shopping you do? What's the room in your house that you constantly clean? What's the stuff that you reorganize so that I can see, the thing that you're doing? And Tracy, as you see comments rolling in, let me know. And so for those of you that this really resonates with, I want to call your attention to a free resource. The Take Control of Your Life audiobook you can find on Audible. You can listen to it for free if you sign up for a free trial with Audible. You can use a credit if you're a member of Audible. If you don't want to buy it, no problem. I got something for you for free. If you go to melrobbins.com/take control, you can download a 55-page workbook that goes along with this 10-hour audiobook. And for free, you can go through the exercises and takeaways yourself. And let me point your attention to the fact that on pages 28 and 29 in the workbook, which you will find at melrobbins.com/take control, you are going to have exercise that, number one, you're going to identify what you do to distract yourself. What do you do to distract yourself? For me, it's shopping. Always shopping. Always related to money, always shopping. Audrey, what do you do to distract yourself?
Netflix.
Netflix, okay. Tracy, I don't know if this is working or not. Oh, there she goes. Corey goes to the craft store, and Anita goes to Target, and Erin shops online, and Allison cleans, and Kelly does laundry. I do laundry too. You know what else I'll do? I'll go up to my son's closet and organize it because he's dyslexic and ADD and dysgraphic and has executive functioning learning differences, style, I think we call it. And so his closet, you might imagine, looks like somebody basically took everything he owns and threw it against the wall. So I will do that too. I'm guilty as charged. So first you're going to identify what you do. And then the next time you catch yourself starting to do this distracting behavior, stop, tune into your body, and ask yourself, what am I trying to avoid by folding laundry right now? What am I trying to avoid by rearranging the living room? What am I trying to avoid by wandering the aisles at DSW, Walmart, or Target? What am I trying to avoid by online shopping? What am I trying to avoid by fussing with the photo albums? What am I trying to avoid by just constantly being on Netflix? What is it? And that is the two-step process to actually taking control in that moment. And then the next time you find yourself reaching for the behavior as a distraction, you're just going to interrupt it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're going to work on something that helps you take control for just 5 minutes. Then go back to Netflix, drive to DSW, whatever it is that you're going to do. But we want to interrupt the pattern that you have of when you feel stressed, when you feel out of control, when you feel overwhelmed, that you mindlessly distract yourself and start messing with stuff instead of dealing with the mess that's making you stressed in the first place. Awesome. All right, so if you have any questions, ask me. Julie asked, how do I know if I'm using it as a distraction or if it's something that's actually important to do? It's a great question. So, and I talk about this in Take Control of Your Life, the new audiobook with Audible. There's a huge difference between needing to clean out your closet, like I often do, because Chris, my husband, and I share a closet. And so, as you might imagine, that's not that fun for the dude. And my stuff, and he's a very clean dude, my stuff tends to spill over into his side. And so when that happens out of respect, I actually do need to take the time to clean up my closet. But if I'm constantly reorganizing it as a project every week and dealing with the mess in my closet as a way to avoid the bigger messes in my life, that's when you know a distraction. If it's a one and done, get it done, get it done. If it's something that you're reaching for over and over as a way to avoid things that are scarier or more confronting, that's when you know it is an actual distraction. Let's see, we also want to give a shout out to Trace. Let me know if there's any questions. Nancy commented on a recent Instagram quote, I joined a gym. I'm very uncomfortable exercising in public forums. I am too. So here's to challenging my fears and living outside my comfort level. And to really push past my personal growth, I even signed up for 4 personal training sessions today, being the first. Wish me well. I'm wishing you more than well, Nancy. I'm wishing that you kick ass and crush it, because you've already done the hardest part. You've conquered your fear, you signed up, and you showed up. And that's the hardest part. So the rest of this, you may not enjoy it, but you're going to get it done. All right, I think that's it. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about being a chameleon, and how often we pretend that we are someone we are not in order to blend in, fit in, or make other people like us. Boy, aren't we all guilty of that one. I think we're going to be live around 11:30 Eastern. We will still be in San Diego, so we are trying to fit these in while we are on the road. And if you have any other questions, make sure that you put them in the comments, that you tag us online, that you use the hashtag AskMel. That's how we find your questions and answer them on these live broadcasts. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about a chameleon. Today, please let me tell you, in case nobody else tells you, that I love you. And I believe in your ability to change your life, because I know that if you change how you think and you change the little things that you do, you'll stop being a chameleon. You'll stop messing with the stuff and start dealing with the messes that you don't want to face. And you will slowly but surely, my friend, change your life and become a better you. And so I love you for showing up here and putting the time in for yourself. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.